symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
What's happening, everybody? The Job Guys back with you one more time. Nitro Nick is here. The Nature Boy, Nitro Nick. And Sloke here as well. Royal Rumble, the 38th annual 2025, Indianapolis, Indiana, the biggest Royal Rumble of all time. And Nick, let's just jump right into it because this was a Rumble everybody thought had a chance to be maybe the best Rumble of all time. Didn't know what the finish was going to be. 6-7 guys maybe had a chance to win this thing.
Definitely
could have been anybody
now.
And it was. And it was absolutely was. A guy nobody really saw winning this thing wins it. Jey Uso eliminates John Cena. He wins the Royal Rumble. Your initial thoughts on just that alone? What a shocker.
I guess two thoughts, right? Number one, kind of cool that we went to a place where maybe opening up that more people can win. I guess if you're a fan of two belts in this two-belt era, it does expand the amount of people that could possibly win this thing.
Yep.
I don't think in a one-belt era, if this was 3 years ago, 4 years ago,
no chance.
Jey Uso can't win this, right?
Yep.
So he is over. If you're a Jey Uso fan, this is really cool. Ryan, for me, it's not so much. I just don't want to see the main event of wrestling. I don't.
Well, let's get that out of the way. He's not going to main event WrestleMania. He's going to be the opening match one of the two nights.
You don't think he'll close night one?
Heck no. Against Gunther? Jey Uso against Gunther?
That's what I'm saying. Isn't that the deal, though? You get to main event WrestleMania. You're not the main event if
you're... because they've done it before. Seth Rollins won, and he fought Brock Lesnar in the opener.
Okay,
that's a one-night Mania.
You don't think this will go off last on?
I hope not.
You can't the second night. 100% it cannot.
He can't the first night.
That's what I was thinking.
I hope not. Now, we were wrong because I also said there was no chance Jey Uso would win. So, what do we know?
He's an idiot.
Yeah. I don't know, Ryan. I think it's really cool because you got so many guys. I think you're trying to take in a guy, Jey Uso, who main event, whether you say it or believe it or not, you've opened up a lot more matches on the card by putting Jey Uso versus Gunther in this title match. Yeah. Now you still got McIntyre to Rollins to Roman to Punk to Cody to Owens.
And we said none of those people really needed the title. They could fight each other without the title. So you're exactly right. You nailed it. They probably were thinking, we'll surprise people. They like this guy. We'll give it to him. And he can fight Gunther. And it really doesn't mess up any other match. And then elevates Jey a little bit. So I see what they were thinking, but man, it's shocking though. And is he at that level? I don't know. People like him.
I thought the same thing. Ryan, I really feel this belt, since Priest took it from McIntyre, has kind of took a dip. I don't think Priest was ready. I'm not dogging Priest. He's definitely come up. He's a lot better than shooting arrows or whatever the heck he was doing when he first came out. But Ryan, we all kind of knew Gunther was winning that match. Priest didn't have a good run. We knew Gunther was winning at SummerSlam. Gunther hasn't had a great run, in my opinion, as world champion.
Not terrible, just there.
No memorable feuds. This match doesn't have the intrigue for me. It'll probably be a good match. Their match before, the two they've had, I've seen have been good matches.
Well, now it makes sense a little bit more that why he fought on Saturday night's main event. He looked like he was going to win and didn't.
Right.
Now it kind of makes sense. Oh, we'll put Jey with him. And you assume he'll win at Mania, but
not mad at that. It seems like the champion is definitely the B champion.
Oh, well, yeah, no doubt. How about with Cena? And it finished the way we thought, except we didn't think it'd be Jey Uso. We thought maybe CM Punk or somebody else. Cena gets right there, right on the cusp, and then he gets pushed out. Nice finish, original finish.
Oh, awesome.
Took forever on the apron, but once they got to it, cool finish. I don't know if you saw the post-show. John Cena took no questions. He just made about a 5-minute statement.
I read it.
and somewhat hinted at a heel turn a little bit there, saying, I deserve to be in the Elimination Chamber. Me main eventing is best for business. It'll be interesting there, but that played out exactly how we thought. That Cena will now put himself in the chamber because he got so close. He got so close. And now he also laid out his final year. He laid out, I am coming for a 17th title. So that kind of played out very well. Did not think it'd be Jey Uso, though. And let me just say this real quick, Nick. His odds, the final odds, were plus 2,000. So, and it has him listed 6th here. I don't know if he was the 6th or they just threw some guys out there, but plus 2,000 favorite. So, yeah, he was down the list quite a ways.
Ryan, I'm going to ask you, you watched the conference. I did not. Is this true? John Cena said he's flying back to Hungary to film a movie.
That's another thing. He goes, I am going to Hungary. I will not be here. So I'm telling you now, I'm in the chamber. I liked it. I like where this is going because I am a full, at least you better tease till this little much that he turns heel, or this whole thing is uninteresting unless he turns. And I hope that he goes, I will do whatever it takes to win an 17th title. And if that means cheat, I will cheat. I hope that happens. I do.
Me too. Him or it's got to be one of them. And we've talked before. If he is fighting Cody, the merch sales might be like, it ain't gonna be Cody going heel. So this guy, so I don't want to see face versus face, Cena versus Cody. I don't think.
No, I mean, I think he'll cheat, like we always said with Taker. Great. He will cheat to beat the Undertaker to break the streak. I think he'll cheat to beat Cody.
That'd be great
to win the title. I hope. Now, do you want to end night 2 of WrestleMania doing that?
Well, they could end night 1. Doing that. I mean,
let's go back to the Rumble. Let's go back to the Rumble before we get into all our conspiracy theories and whatever else. Again with Jey, does it? I'm seeing mixed reactions everywhere. Some people love it because they love the shock value of it. Some people love it because, like we just said, Punk didn't need to win. Roman didn't need to win. Seth didn't need. None of those guys. Jey did. It lifts Jey up a little bit. But what's your thoughts as a guy who's watched wrestling for 40 years? What's your thoughts? Did they just knock it down to Hacksaw Duggan, Big John Studd? Oh, what's his
Alberto Del
Rio. Did they knock it down to that level? Because some people
higher than them. I think he's higher than them, but that's about it, Ryan. I just don't. To me, Jey Uso, he's way better than I ever thought he would be as solo, right? I thought the Usos would both really struggle and flop. But with that being said, and people can criticize me, I think the yeet is all that he's got. The hand waving thing, entrance. Like there's not a lot beyond
modern day Shinsuke Nakamura.
Maybe
right, entrance and then the bell rings.
If I asked you to tell me Jey Uso's tell me his defining promo this year. Like when you really felt.
Well, he doesn't. He just says yeet all the time.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, that's exactly. Yes, I don't know.
Now maybe we'll get it Monday.
Maybe, right? But again, he's not really intimidating looking. I mean, he's kind of just got a regular
He's
build.
39 years old.
Yeah.
Like I said. And by the way, these are two guys that love the Usos, who think the Usos now beat Demolition, which we did a giant podcast about the greatest tag team of all time. We think the Usos are number one. We love the Usos. But individually, I don't hate the guy. I just don't see it. But once again, I do get it. They elevated a guy. And we knew, whoever was fighting Gunther, we knew that match was going to be down the card. So, okay, all right, it's still the 5th best match in Mania, or 6th best match in Mania. This doesn't change that.
No.
So I'm not mad, but I think they had a chance to do something special with a lot of other guys, and they chose Jey.
I'm just wondering when you put this, this is why I keep it. What does he do, right? He just yeets. That's what I'm saying. There's just a yeet. Like there, I don't know what distinguishes him from Jimmy, the Yeet. What distinguishes him from the Bloodline, the Yeet. There's got
Well,
to be more than Yeet.
well, I'll tell you. Yeah, I think so. But I'll tell you, I mean, people obviously are into it. My
No,
buddy,
he's old man. The place
Art,
went freaking nuts when he came
well,
out.
well, yeah, when he came out, they did not go nuts when he won. They were shocked. They did. I mean, they
Yes,
cheered, but it
they did.
wasn't like Pop of the Year or anything. Um, but I will say this though, and you talking about kids, and obviously we were kids when Hogan was coming up, and people always rip on it. You only liked him because you were a kid. Well, now here we are, 40 years later, saying the same thing about Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes and all that. So I totally get it. My buddy Hump, our buddy Hump, was there on the floor. And he has a 7-year-old kid. I believe Xander's 7. I'm sorry if not. He bought the Yeet shirt, bought the Yeet glasses. He
Very
was
cool.
there. He was yeeting the whole dang time. Loves Cody as well. But then, when Jey Uso won, I mean, he's going crazy and he thinks it's awesome. So they look at it obviously in a different light than we look at it. We're over here doing Pythagorean theorem when we're breaking down the stinking Rumble, and this kid's just going, "Hey, yeah, he's cool." So it's totally different.
Well, and
And
at the end
I
of the
get
day,
it
Ryan.
because I was Hulk Hogan, because I'm like, yeah,
Well, Ryan, at the end of the day, Humphrey, his kid, they bought tickets, they bought shirts. Me and you didn't. They contributed to the WWE product. That's why Jey Uso is winning this thing,
and
and me
he's
and
been
you
up
aren't
there,
booking
if
this.
not number
Yeah,
one for
yeah,
a
he's
year.
selling. I mean, he is
Yeah.
selling. So, I mean, this kid is not alone at all. I mean, he is definitely got a fan base. I hope this works. Like, again, I just need a little more. Like
How
I just.
surprised were you? Tell me that. Because let me tell you, I'll full frontal here. Wait, what? X-rated. I got screwed. Both of us watched on delay. You were at a family event. I was working. So it's about midnight, maybe before that. And I kept trying to watch, and I couldn't because stinking Peacock only lets you rewind a half hour for some reason now. And so I couldn't watch. And then I'm just sitting there and I'm texting my buddy, and screw freaking ESPN. I get a push alert that says Jey Uso eliminates John Cena. I go, ah! And I didn't know if that was the finish, but I was like, and I
Well,
just swiped
probably
it.
ruined it when you came down to it when you were watching
Oh,
it.
well, I
Yeah.
didn't know, but yeah, I mean, no headline's going to be Jey Uso eliminates John Cena 8th in the Rumble. I mean, I knew
Right.
that was then the finish. I'm like, and then I'm just like, oh my gosh, Jey Uso, what? So I knew the finish. I didn't know anything else beyond that. But so it ruined that for me. Someone who watched it later or whatever, but didn't know. Were you
Well,
just
right.
like, oh, Cena's
I was
winning?
trying to.
Cena,
I
and
was
then-
trying to
and
stay away
then
from. Yes,
it
I was trying
happened.
to stay
Tell
away
me,
from you.
walk me through the finish.
I got home last night. Had a family event. I did watch it twice, Ryan. I watched it last night with my brother, who former
Oh, you
wrestling
did
fan.
watch it. Oh,
Twice.
so
I
you
was
lied
trying
to me,
not.
you jerk.
Yeah, I was trying not to text you and talk to
Okay,
you when you were
I got
when you
you.
were
I
calling
got
me.
you.
So I watched it with my brother, and my brother is sitting there, and a lot of the things that were happening.
Who
he
doesn't
was
watch, by the way?
No, he has not watched since the Attitude NWO era days.
But
And
he knows the dudes, but he
he
doesn't
does.
watch.
He knows some of the guys, not all the guys. Like he doesn't know who Jacob Fatu is, but he knows who Roman Reigns is,
Right.
or he knows the Seth Rollins. But
Right.
he was calling some things that were happening, and he's like, it's gonna happen. And we get down to the end, and he's just like, what am I watching here? Like John Cena's obviously gonna win this. And
Right.
I'm sitting there going, I don't know, man. This seems way too obvious. And a
Yeah.
lot of times when things seem
Yeah.
way too but I'm thinking
And
going,
we saw it in the girls' match earlier, same kind of setup. You're like, well, it's obvious.
and I couldn't believe, and I was like, could he really? And my brother and I just sat there in shock, and my brother's like, well, I guess I didn't call it, and he was like, because it was just like and it did happen. I mean, they were juggling on the outside, but it happened pretty quick. He slid off, pushed him
Yeah.
off, and you're
Cool
like,
finish. I'm cool with it.
Great finish.
Yeah.
And you're
And the
just
look
sitting there.
on Cena's face, and they zoom into it. Great production.
They had a couple great production. The Roman Seth, when
Oh,
Roman is in the
the
background
rack.
and Seth,
The
Oh
rack
man,
focus is, as we call it
what
in
a
the business.
shot
His
right
face
there.
out of focus, put his face in focus. Oh, sweet,
Oh, it's
sweet.
nice, man. And hats off to them in the women's match. I don't want to jump ahead. They had a wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah,
Unlike
she
other
kept trying to tie Bird Girl.
unlike other programs,
Yeah.
they moved away and
Yes.
focused on the wrestlers
Look
and
at you.
let
Look at
the
you,
assistants
TV
come in.
veteran over
There you
here.
go, man. And you saw the ring people run in and help her
Yep.
get resituated and
Well, you
readjusted.
didn't because they moved the
Right, but
camera.
you've
Yeah.
seen them, yeah. On
Because she
other
kept
shows,
trying and couldn't
yeah.
get it. And so they're like, yeah, let's move. She
But
needs
yeah,
help.
I I'm okay, right? I guess if you're gonna do this, I just I'm not really big into this match. I'm okay with the win because I think this kind of opens it up for future because we've had a couple rumbles. Like people talk like a couple years ago, Gunter was in the end of the rumble. We all knew he wasn't winning 2 years
Right.
ago when he was one
Right.
of the last two. I hate when and now you kind of made me think, dang, anybody can really win this thing if we're gonna go with Jey Uso, you
The
know? I mean,
guy I thought would be, and I think we talked about it on our preview, I thought the guy who Jay was, who would be in the end and then thrown out, I thought was Sammy. And he was not. It was Jay, and that Jay wins the thing. Let's go over, unless you have anything else to say about the
No,
finish, let's go
great
into
finish.
just the match itself and run down a couple of things, big spots, whatever. Did they set anything up here and there, whatever. Let's just go through it. Let's not spend a ton of time, but, if there's any big
Well,
points
Ryan,
you want to hit
I
on.
can tell you, is a tale of two rumbles for me. You could fast forward till number 15.
Well, right, and you
I
talked
mean,
about that on the preview too. About they only announced 15 dudes, and so we're like, well, how many surprises are there going to be, and then who's going to be in it, and whatever. And the first 7-8 guys were all guys you're just like, come on. Now, I will say this: we'll talk about it real quick. The lack of surprises. You had Joe Henry. You had the streamer dude who got thrown in there, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
And no Randy Orton. People thought either he'd be in the Cody match or maybe here. He was not. Not a lot of surprises, which is fine. They start though, and I'll be honest, I liked it. Ray against Penta.
I was fine with the two.
When Ray came out, I was like, all right. And I didn't give it 1 second of a thought about who would be number 2. And then Penta came out, who Ray is his hero and all that. And I'm like, all right. I like it. I like it. Now they had the botch spot where 1 foot touched and 2, whatever. That's happened before. They just moved right on.
You have
like,
to.
We are not showing a replay. We're not nothing. Move on because Penta then goes 40 minutes. And then Gable comes out, as he said. Here's what I don't like. We'll get into it later. Gable comes in and he does the same exact spot that Chelsea Green did earlier in the night. But he did the spot where there was 4 other guys in the ring, 1 over one side, 1 over one side, 4 sides. He throws everybody out. They all get back in. Then they all beat him. They just did the same spot with Chelsea Green. How does that get through? How does that?
Ryan, this isn't the first time. This is constantly happening year after year in these rumbles where we're seeing these spots happen.
And it's terrible.
It's hard to, and Ryan and the other defense. You're asking people to book 2 rumbles. Like this is it sucks. Like trying to every year you've got to book a rumble and make it different from the previous rumble. Now you've got to book 2 rumbles and make them different from the 2 previous.
How does that happen? Do you have 2 different producers and they both come up and they both go, hey, I know what I'm going to do. The same exact spot? Like,
Abrams
how do you do that twice?
Abrams was writing the women's and Johnson's was writing the men's, I think, or something like it.
Star Wars reference for those who,
I don't want to see anything identical, man, like in these 2 rumbles. Anything that could be construed as a copy, but...
Okay, so Breaker gets in there after the first 6 job guys, and you knew Braun Breaker wasn't going to win. He comes in at 7, though, and it's the first, name guy, and he just cleans house. He's wiping dudes out. Tozawa comes out. He is 14 steps down the aisle, and he gets nailed in the back of the head and he's dead. We just saw a ladder match where guys are getting thrown through ladders and just getting up and kicking out of everything. One punch to the back of Tozawa's head, which I know is not Cody Rhodes, but that apparently killed him.
He was supposed to go 30 minutes in the Rumble, but he can't take a punch.
And they throw the streamer out there, which I'll be honest, guess what? This made me more than anything in my life, which every single day, Nick, you can tell me because you hang out with high schoolers all the time. Pause. Not like that. You're a teacher. You hang out with high schoolers all the time. You probably feel old every day.
All the time.
I also cover high school sports for a living, so I see high schoolers and all this. I've never felt as old as I felt here. I have no idea who this guy is.
I have no.
And then they're and I'm like, hey, the job guy's got 500 subscribers. Hey, man, hey, we got another one. Hey, this guy's got 35 freaking million followers. Yeah. I don't know who he is, which God bless him. I'm not mad at him.
Yeah, no, not
but I'm like, why are you getting a shot at the title? Now, I will say this. He took, I can't believe he's not dead. Dude,
they must have practiced that. They must.
How about the spear that mofo took, dude?
Yeah, he did. I guess for the fans, but again, this to me is it's too jokey with the street. This is again your world title.
Well,
match,
again,
man.
let's go once again, as we just said. We were 5 years old when Hogan blew up, and we're like, yeah, 5, 10, 15, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds now. The streaming that they know who this guy is. Apparently 35 million people know who this guy is. So they liked it. I can't be mad at it. And I don't like the idea, but the execution was great because the guy freaking took the biggest live round of all time. So I'm okay with it. It's one spot. It's fine. And he took Tozawa.
Well, whatever. I didn't want to see Kirk Cameron in the 1989 Royal Rumble either, though. So, or whoever was the hot celebrities back then.
Cameron.
Growing pains. It was a good show.
Kirk Cameron. Wow.
I just brought it out anywhere. You could have brought who's the Teen Wolf kid?
Michael J. Fox.
I would have been just as disappointed with him. I don't want to see them in the Rumble, man.
Let's move a little ahead to Jacob Fatu. Comes in.
You looked like $1 million.
And now we saw this in the women's match as well, and we'll get into it with them too a little bit, but I will foreshadow everything. Jacob gets in there. He eliminates like 3 guys in literally 3 seconds. That was another thing that happened tonight or last night. Multiple eliminations all at the same time. I don't know that we've ever seen that before in both Rumbles, where like one person just comes in, and Roman did it later. 4 guys are out in 4 seconds. Or in Nia Jax's case, she literally threw 6 girls out all at once. Like, again, I get it. It's fine. But the booking is strange. You did it multiple times in both matches. Very strange that I don't know. Because the girls' match at one time had 16 people in the ring at once. And then all of a sudden, 8 of them get fired out in 8 seconds.
I think if you tabulated, Ryan, the amount of time spent on the apron, these 2 Rumbles probably take the cake for all of the Rumbles. There was a ton of guys hanging from the out. I mean, I think there was one point Zelina Vega was like hanging on the edge.
For they like cut 5 minutes.
Yes, they cut away.
And she's still there.
And they came back and she's still hanging on, man. Dude. There was so much on the apron, so many people getting flipped to the outside. In both of them, it was just, I can look past it because if it's your biggest, but it was a lot for just one night, man. There was a ton. Time spent on the apron has to be through the roof on this Rumble.
I was shocked at Roman coming in at 16. I'm glad they did it
it worked
as
for me,
it
brother.
Played out. I'm glad they did early. I was like, wow, this is early, but here we go again. 3 spears, boom, 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 3 eliminations, just like that. Then he faces off with Braun. Braun nails him. How about that spear? Goldberg's looking at that spear going, brother,
Yeah, that was a good one.
yo, that was a good one. It only to be topped by the one with the streamer that he murdered that
Right.
kid. But no, my gosh, what a spear. That was cool. Jacob throws out Jimmy. Then we have the Roman Jacob face off. That was kind of cool.
That we
What do
didn't
you
really
think about
get.
that?
They teased. We didn't really get
But,
it.
and Cole says, you're looking at a future WrestleMania main event.
Let's hope not this year. But maybe. I mean, the dude looked like $1,000,000. I thought Jacob Fatu last night. He looked good.
What do you think about him getting eliminated by Braun?
I don't think it hurts him really because I mean, he took him by surprise, and you're setting this up. I'm assuming this is Elimination Chamber. We're probably getting these two again in a match, so they had
Which
to
is
find.
also almost 2 months away, or a month away.
They had to find some way to, because I mean, he murdered Braun on Saturday night's main event. I mean, just took him out. So if you want these two to fight, Braun's got to somehow get the upper hand on him.
Finn Shinsuke come out and the crowd literally died. I mean, it was crickets, 70,000 crickets in there when that happened. But then the big ones, Cena and Roman face off. Then 24 Punk's music hits, 25 Seth's music hits. Then Logan comes out at 30. We know what happened. The final 6 was strange though, and then they had the triple elimination, which we have not talked about, and that is how we will wrap up the men's Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
You've got Seth and Roman tied up in the ropes. Punk dumps them out. Then Punk, rookie move by him, sits there and stands over him. Logan throws out Punk. Then on the outside, they're laying on the ground still. Roman is screaming at Punk. Seth double foot stomps, which how good did that look?
I don't know that. I thought he murdered him because he came down both feet on his head and drove him in. Look good. I hope it wasn't good.
Oh, I mean, he then took one to the steps a minute later.
Yeah, I saw that, but man, I thought he killed him.
It was awesome.
It was in Roman's laying there. Seth is obviously turning heel. My question for you, Ryan. We're not doing a 3-way, are we?
Well, yeah, that's the big question. That's the big question because they have not hinted other than the favor at Punk Roman. They have not hinted at that, but they have hinted at Seth Roman. They hinted at Seth Roman in this match. They faced off for a while, but then all this happened, and that brawl outside the ring went on for 2 or 3 minutes, which it's very shocking. Somehow, all the people in the ring could not move during this whole time. I don't know how but yeah. So that whole thing, do you like that triple threat?
No.
Seth, Punk, Roman? I don't want to see that either.
No, not. If I have to see it, please put it on at the Chamber. I don't like triple threats in the main event.
And again, WrestleMania is April 19th and 20th. It's
still
long
a
way
ways
away,
right? So I don't want to see. I feel like you're wasting someone in that match.
I'll tell you who dude, you're not gonna like this. Your boy Seth is like the ultimate hanger-on. He was last year.
If they put him in a triple threat, he will be.
Last year, he was the ultimate hanger-on with the
he
Cody.
Was last year, yes.
And it's like he's great, but he's like a man with no land. Like, what do you do with this guy? And hopefully they figure it out. Because I thought the same thing here. Because I'm like, okay, when Roman and Punk were on the ground yelling at each other, I was like, okay, I get this is good. And then Seth interrupted. I'm like, no, you're not in this. Go away.
I think you're getting Seth Roman at WrestleMania.
I
think that
I don't want to see that.
If you look back though, Ryan,
that's 10 years ago.
I know I'm not saying whether you like it or not, but
that's like seeing Hogan and Piper at WrestleMania 17 again.
Yeah,
I don't want to see, dude. That's 10 years ago, man.
I
I'm
don't know how
over it
people feel. Like I don't. Yeah, I would rather see Punk Roman, to be honest with you, at
because
WrestleMania.
there's real life there.
But I don't know that you're gonna get it. I don't. I would rather. But again, Ryan, we got a ways. I mean, they say this is the road to WrestleMania. It's not like WrestleMania is the next pay-per-view.
Right.
I
No.
mean, and not only that, Raw is bigger than it's ever been. SmackDown is bigger than it's ever been. They're putting these marquee matches on Saturday night's main event and stuff like that. So who knows where we're going to be a month from now, Ryan? I mean, we do say this does start the road because you
Shoot,
get a
a month,
winner.
3 months.
Yeah. I mean, these.
Today is February 1st. WrestleMania is April 19th.
You got to think.
All right, let's go back to the
Quit
top,
trying to
dude. How
call
about the
things.
stadium, dude? Looked great. I mean, it was WrestleMania worthy. I mean, it was
The aisle's a
incredible.
little weird for the Rumble. For
No,
me,
I liked it. It's
you
high.
do
It's high
the aisle
because,
because
dude, I'm glad you said that. Let me interrupt you. I've been at SummerSlam at Ford Field in Detroit. I've been to SummerSlam at Cleveland Brown Stadium this past year. You can't see the dudes walking down the aisle. They elevated the aisle. Brilliant.
I don't
Because you
mind
can't see them.
Ryan. I don't mind the elevation. I'm talking the length. It took
Wow.
them. It took them the amount of time to walk the aisle. The
The
next
whole 2
number's
minutes.
clicking.
Yeah.
You know,
But
like
they but dude,
yeah.
that's why they have 70,000 people there, though.
And I think it worked though to their advantage because they had a couple in both where they really did want to stall until the next number. You saw that when Punk hit to the Seth hit. They really
when
didn't.
Seth came down, yeah,
They really nothing happened. Punk just
right.
got in the ring and they stared at each other until Seth's music hit.
They just stood there and they were
And
chanting, "This is
that
awesome," and
happened.
then the number rang out.
Yeah, and that happened a couple times. But yeah, the look it was huge. I mean, that definitely 70,000 strong in there.
We talked about the first Rumble match, and now we're going to get into the women's Rumble match. I thought the other very cool thing about this show, the best thing about this show, the ticker at the bottom was awesome. I assume that's a Lee Fitting thing, who knows, or some other little genius who's sitting back there going, why are we not running stats at the bottom? Why do we bring up a big number? Let's run a ticker, as literally ESPN does through every show, whatever it is. They're running that down there, and it might say how many are in currently, how many have been eliminated, who's the next number. Then it tells you Io Sky's been in here for an hour. Then it tells you Roman Reigns 30 minutes, and it tells you how many eliminations he's ever had. I thought that was awesome. What a great idea.
It works. I think it's a great idea too because people can get lost. Ryan, as good as Jey Uso has, there was a moment from when he got in, and then all the big dudes got in. You kind of forgot Jey Uso was in this match and he was laying in the corner.
Yeah.
But that ticker does help remind you when they start running people's times. Like, don't forget this guy. Don't forget this guy. They're still in there. They're still going. So yeah, I think you're right on that. And it remind. Oh, Roman's already got 4. Okay, all right, he's got 4 limbs. This guy's got 5.
Yep. All right, man. Let's just go to the top of the show. Stephanie McMahon was there for some reason. Did
Caught me a
nothing.
little off guard. Yeah, but
Just said, "Hey, here we go. We're at the Rumble." Okay,
yeah.
whatever. Then we go into the Open. Then we go into the Women's Rumble, which we assumed was going to start the show. Io Sky is number 1 right away. I'm just like, well, that means she's running. She's running for a while. And then Liv comes out, number 2. I go, oh, shoot. Okay, they're going huge right out of the gate because you figure she's going to last a while as well.
I thought it was a great one, too.
Yeah.
I really, 2 people who you weren't
opposite of the dudes.
Yes, they weren't. Neither one of these 2 were not odds-on favorites. But I'll tell you this much. I would have bet more money one of these 2 would have won over Jey Uso had you started the night. So like that's what I'm saying. Like these are not odds-on favorite, but they're not necessarily the darkest of dark horses. Yeah.
They were in it WrestleMania time a year ago. Yeah, absolutely. And this is where I said I like the ramp all the way to the ring. Helps you see people. Roxanne Perez, who people believe is maybe going to get called up right now. She's been the NXT champ. She comes in at 3, did well. I don't watch NXT, as anybody that watches this show knows. We do not. I hear she's a great wrestler. I think she showed that, though. She had some moves in there. She did fine.
No doubt, Ryan, but I will say me and you obviously are not the only people who don't watch NXT, as you could tell from the reaction when some of these girls came out.
Well,
There
the dudes as well.
there
Their
were,
music hit, and
and people are
people
like,
didn't know what the music was when it
who
hit.
are these people? Like, yeah, and that some of the girl, like, I didn't, yeah, because yeah, you can see there is still a very large chunk of your audience that's not watching NXT.
Chelsea comes out with the
People
spot.
love her, man.
Dude, the spot we talked about with the fellas where she throws everybody out, then they all gang up on
They
her.
booed.
They booed.
They booed.
They
That's
booed.
freaking awesome.
People like Chelsea because, again, I don't think she's been good since she's won the belt, but she's so entertaining, man.
She is.
And she is by far the most entertaining person in the women's division. I mean, it's not even close.
And I think they had her in there, and I think people can boo about her getting out, but I think they did get her out right at the right moment because you're about to bring back some people.
Dude, the first 8 girls come in before an elimination, and then Chelsea is the first one throwing out BFAB, and the place goes nuts.
Yeah, they do.
Bianca, how about the spot with her? She kept stacking them all up in the corner and then flipping and then stacking another one and then flipping and stacking another one. Dude,
Pretty cool.
she's the best wrestler, if not on the planet, male or female, in the female division. I don't care.
Jay's your girl.
Write me something in the comments. Write me something on Facebook or Twitter. She is so much, by far, the best female wrestler, if not wrestler on the planet that there is. Because right after she did that, she's flipping, and then she picks up Io Sky and press slams her. Dude, she's awesome. They just got to get her out of this tag team and have something else to do with her.
Well, I think you will, Ryan. I think that was one of the cool things about this night for the girls. This match was way better than I thought it was going to be. I was not looking forward to this women's Rumble match at all. Me and you had talked. If you haven't seen it, we ran back 1990 Royal Rumble. It's a great one. We did, and then we did a show on Saturday night's main event where we ended it with a little talking about a preview for this Rumble. And me and you were both, I don't know about the women. You're like, there's maybe 2, 3, I'm not feeling it. I thought this was a decent Rumble for the women.
Yeah.
One of the better ones I've ever seen the women put on. And the guest entrants were awesome. I thought Jordan Grace was amazing. Alexa Bliss, little bummed to see when she came out with the doll.
Let's get into that in 1 second. My fault for not saying what you just said at the top. I think this is the best women's Royal Rumble of all time.
Might be.
Until the end.
Oh, you didn't like the end?
I hated the end. I thought this was by far the best book, the best work, the best everything women's Royal Rumble until you got to the last 5. Then I thought it was absolute dog. Okay. I thought it was terrible at the end. But the rest was great. You mentioned Jordan Grace. Let's start right there. Jordan Grace comes out. What do you think about her?
I thought it was a great debut. I thought her fireman carry thing of Piper Niven was cool. The fans kind of went nuts for that when she got her up. It just, the only thing about Jordan, I'm not a huge, I know who Jordan Grace is. I've seen her wrestle. I've watched Impact and seen her. She's just small, Ryan. She is as height wise. As
barely hits the top rope.
She looks up at Zelina Vega. It's just that's how small she is.
That's all. I don't care how many muscles she has. That's all I thought about the whole time. I'm like, she looks weird and she's small.
So we'll have to see. I'll give her this, Ryan. I'm not throwing in the towel. I am interested to see what the WWE is able to do with this woman. So I'll give it. But again, it was a cool entrance. This is the former TNA. You're not just throwing someone out there. It's not, Victoria or Christy Hemme
Some
or
random.
yeah, it's not someone who is not going to win this. I
Right.
thought, yeah, I was happy to see her, and of course, my girls came back. I was happy to see Trish. Um, I love Trish, man. She's always going to be my number one. She's my favorite.
Let's go to the biggest surprise of the entire evening. You said her name before. Absolute eruption. Honest to God, maybe the pop of the night. Alexa Bliss after, oh, shocking, the dirt sheets get worked again. We heard the whole week leading up. Oh, they're so far off. Alexa may never come back.
Never coming
You
back.
got worked, bro. You got worked. Alexa Bliss. Nobody knew the music at first because she
No.
came out to the Nightmare music, but her name popped up on the screen. She comes out, freaking eruption. We have not seen
awesome.
her in 2 years. That's the good part. You said it. Bad part.
Yeah.
She comes out holding
That
the doll.
stupid doll.
She comes out and turns around right away, and I could not read what it said on the back. I've seen pictures,
Something
and it said like
forever,
"Long live the Fiend" or whatever.
Some fiend forever. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That to me ruined the whole thing.
Yep.
As happy as I was, I like when I saw it. That was more than anything on the night. I was like, yeah, because I like the goddess. I like the goddess, and I'm like,
Little Miss Bliss. Yeah,
we're doing this. I
don't wanna
didn't
see
like
that.
it.
I'm hoping that's not it because Ryan, we've seen it. It's not working.
Oh,
The
it
other
didn't
guys
work.
are. It didn't work.
Hey, where were they in the Rumble tonight? Were
Catering.
they in it?
Yeah, I don't know. Kate,
Were the Wyatts in it?
Yeah.
Was whatever his name is, Scarlett's guy? I don't even know his name. Were any
Cross.
of them in the Rumble tonight? No. Nobody cares about that crap, man. And by the way, she had a kid, and she was in the best shape she's ever been in.
Yeah, she looks like $1 million
Great.
bucks. I just didn't realize there was as much hate. I don't hate the Bellas. Like I
don't hate them. I just don't care.
I didn't know if I'm not saying that. But Ryan, it's something they're trying. I like the girls' surprise entrance. I thought all of them were cool.
I don't know that you'll ever see her again.
Couldn't be, maybe not. I don't know. I had read that she had said a possible. I'm now again. She might have just been joking. A possible one more time run.
Charlotte comes out at 27. She gets freaking pyro. I just was thinking this whole time is like, do you guys not get it? This is why no one likes her. No one else got pyro. No one else got anything. She gets pyro as she comes out. This is why people don't like her. And then you get down to the final few. Nia, Nikki Bella, Julia, Stephanie Vacar, Roxanne, 3 NXT girls. Bailey, who won a year ago, I didn't even realize she was in it until she got thrown out. It was so obvious Charlotte was going to win at this point. I thought this match was awesome till you got down to the final, as I said, few. And then it was just obvious Charlotte's going to win. Who knows where they're going to go, but with the 2 promos they've shown the last 2 weeks with her, it just seems like the same old Charlotte. It's going to run stale literally next week.
Would you have liked the ending better? Charlotte wins, but she eliminates Bianca to win. Would that have kept you a little bit more on the edge of your seat?
Well, I will.
guess?
Yes, I will say that. And we talked about the mass eliminations. Nia threw out like 6 or 8 girls all at once.
Freaking murder.
If you go back and watch it, it's kind of funny. You wonder if Bianca accidentally got eliminated. Go back and watch it. She's hanging on, as you should do. She's selling it. Maybe she just sold incredibly well. But it looked like maybe it was an accident.
I kind of knew Charlotte was going to win. I mean, all odds were that
especially
she was
without Becky in it.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't like the finish, though. Look who's in it. It's 3 NXT girls. Bailey gets launched out like nothing, and it was just like, oh, all right, Charlotte's really going to win. I don't think this is going to go well. Unless they change her character, it's not going to go well.
Do you think maybe this was set up as the obvious to really help swerve you? Because you felt the same
Jey
in the
Uso,
second
you
one.
thought
You're like
the same thing.
Like, no freaking way Jey Uso's throwing out John Cena. And then all of a sudden, boom, and we're all sitting there with Cena's same face at home going, what the hell did we just see?
I think everybody on the planet felt the same way. It was like you look at that final 5, Roman, Punk, Seth, Jey Uso, and then he ends up winning. Same thing we thought in the girls' match, except Charlotte did end up winning. Now, we said going in, there's only 3 possible girls who are going to win this. Charlotte, Becky, who's not even in it, and then Bianca. That's what makes me think maybe the Bianca elimination was an accident, because when you look at these other girls, you're just like, no shot, dude. No shot. I don't know.
I just think, though, the Bianca thing's got to be tied to Jade, though, right? I mean, more than the world title. We've got, but again, I don't know how long Jade's out.
We don't know,
Like, what is the injury? How is she even going to be available for WrestleMania?
Nobody knows. Literally nobody knows, and that's another thing. You hear all this stuff. People say it's fake. People say it's real. Well, what is it? Nobody knows. And once again, if you're listening to Meltzer, who has absolutely zero WWE sources, which is quite obvious now at this point,
sure,
you don't know what to believe. So, again, we have 2.5 months to see if she comes back and what happens there. Anything else on the ladies' match? It's going to be Charlotte. Do you go after Rhea?
Tiffany.
For the third? You want Tiffany? Or or do you think?
I think it's Tiffany. She's got Ryan. They've moved everyone to Raw. I've got like SmackDown's a graveyard of wrestlers because I think Netflix is demanding people come over.
I think that will be we don't swear on this show. Tiffany Charlotte will be absolutely terrible.
You think the match, feud, story, everything, or
everything,
all the way?
The
down
match might be fine, but you got 2 girls that can't talk. And is Tiffany a heel or a face? Is Charlotte a heel or a face?
Charlotte appeared to be a face last night, slapping hands as she walked out. But again,
she tells everybody how great she is.
You're right, but the 2 are the same in the aspect of they're like Gunther. Sometimes they are faces, sometimes they're heels. We just got to know what day of the week it is.
They got 3 months.
Yeah.
At this point, why would I care about that match today? Why would I care about that match?
Well, that's kind of the
problem. Or would I
but
rather see the rubber match between Rhea and Charlotte?
Yeah, you could go that way too. I mean, I definitely think it's open. I'm just guessing.
I agree. I'm throwing it out there. No judgment. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm just wondering because then I assume maybe. Does Lynch come back and go after Stratton?
I think she comes back at some point. She could come back anytime, and we know she signed.
Yeah, I assume those are the 4 girls, though, right? Going into the main event. That's what I'm guessing. I could be wrong. I assume
Alexa might be in there somewhere.
She got a big pop, but dude, if they go with that angle with the story, what they're doing, it's going to die quick, Ryan. It's not going to make it to Mania. So, yes, if they put her back where she comes out into that beep, bop, boop, boop, or whatever music and puts the title and winks at us and, does that thing, that's awesome. That could be back in the main event at WrestleMania. The doll, no.
Tag title match. I had absolutely zero interest in this whatsoever. You and I used to watch TNA back in the day. Yeah. We were Motor City Machine Guns
20 years ago, Ryan.
20 years ago. And then also the guy employing them apparently has come around. Well, I haven't when he stands next to the Yes Boys, and the Yes Boys are a foot and a half taller than these guys are, and they're older than us. I have no interest in the machine guns anymore. I've never had any interest in DIY. I watched it 14 minutes. This is another thing. You got a 4-hour pay-per-view. You have a 2 out of 3 falls match. Most normal matches go over 20 minutes. They had 3 falls in 14 minutes, Nick, because we had to show Pat McAfee throwing a pass.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
A lot of time in between the matches, too. Yeah.
And a lot. Yeah. Your thoughts on it? Like, obviously, the guys were fine. They worked hard.
The match was fine.
I thought they were booked to just be there, though. Like, yeah.
Ryan, they've ruined they've ruined the tag titles by separating these things. I don't care. Like they don't have a deep enough roster to do 2 tag belts. They just don't. These guys they're not. It's a really bad era. I mean, we talked about this on our award show, Ryan. A lot of the job guy fans out there, they're saying like there aren't tag teams, and I agree with them. They're just it's Bo and Luke thrown together. The Dukes of Hazzard. Here we go.
Your thoughts on what happened though, and then the Street Profits. Apparently, they're turned. I assume they turned right.
They beat up the bad guys too, Ryan.
Right.
So I don't know. I think I assume we're heading probably to a triple threat match now or something between these 3 tag teams. But again, the Street Profits, as much as I'll give them this, they're a tag team. Great. Ryan, how old are these guys? How long have we been watching the Street Profits?
They haven't had the belts for over 2 years, maybe 3.
Most of us, I think there's more people like me that have been screaming Montez Ford single push. So Ryan, I could care less about this. I could care less about the Viking War or the War Raiders. The tag team division in the WWE right now is not as bad as 95, 94, but it's as close to getting there as you could without being there.
I want to know, and you'll never find this out, not that it would make some kind of world of difference or anything, but they assumed they were getting the Lucha Brothers.
Which would have
I wonder if they got Rey Fenix, what would have happened with the tag division? What was their plan with the tag division? Said the Luchas come in together. What would have happened at that point? Just throwing that out there. Last match, it was not the last match, but it's the last match to us. World title, real title against the Winged Eagle title in a ladder match.
I thought it was a good match. I didn't think it felt like more, I mean, I know all of them, more of like a no DQ match than a ladder match. Like they kind of were just
right. But, you can do whatever you want to do.
You could do, but Ryan, how is the Kevin Owens move not a finishing move? That fisherman suplex off the top rope. Like
I said, I got one problem with the show.
Ahead.
That's it. He hit another move right before that. Then he hit the fisherman thing through the ladder. And then he laid there like he was dead after he hit this move. All the agents come out, right?
Right.
And then Cody just is alive and cuts him open. And wait a minute. You're the one that hit the last 2 moves. How is Cody the guy? This is so AEW BS to me.
It was weird because he got up and reversed it into a crossroads or something right away, right? Or something.
I loved this match until then. How? There's the guy that goes through 2 straight ladders. He's the guy who then comes up with a great. I don't know did not like that at all. It ruined a potential 5-star match for me.
I don't know if I thought it was that. Like it was good though, man. I'm just not as big into those ones. But yeah, I like the what did they call it? The fireman or whatever the way he slammed him at the end, the carry through the ladder to win it. When Cody flipped him up. That was really cool too, man.
Awesome.
That was a
and
great
then the
finish.
way KO sold it, folded up, head over heels,
where he's bleeding and you can see Cody standing in the back. But again, Ryan,
Alabama Slam is what it's called.
Again, it's one of those things they confuse you. Cody then comes back and stands over him. I'm like,
He's a
this is
heel.
heel. Like, oh, no, like this is heel things to do. Goes and stands on the table above his bleeding. Well, Sami Zayn doesn't, adding sympathy to Kevin Owens, that even his buddy is out there worried about him. He's blood and gushing all over his face. And I thought the match was really good, a nice ladder match. I again, yeah, they were crazy moves and everything, but yeah, the ending was cool. I noticed that too. The no sell. You gotta watch those things,
Kills
man.
me. This Sammy part of this. Where does Sammy play into this? He showed up at some point. KO had said, "Hey man, help me out. I'll help you out."
Kevin's gonna blame
together. He didn't help him. He was there but didn't help him. Will KO then said, "Whoa, why didn't you help me?" What are we looking at here?
Yep. Kevin Owens is gonna blame Sami Zayn for this loss.
You were there but you didn't help me.
You were there, you didn't help me. What was going on? I've always been there for you, or something to that nature. I would assume that. I mean, because I don't want to see these two
Because we
back
assume
together.
they're fighting at Mania.
Yeah, I think they've always wanted to. Hasn't that been a dream of the two of these guys to square off with each other at WrestleMania? Of all the key marquee guys that I consider the top tier, from Roman to Rollins to McIntyre to Cody to Punk, you didn't really take two of them away from me with the Rumble. You got Gunther, who I still think is B plus, and Jey Uso, who I still think is B plus. I don't mean that in any disrespect. I just mean
B plus is good, but
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, they're not Roman. They're not.
Right,
They're not
right,
legend.
right.
They're not the guys. So you didn't really take away, and now we're all still playing with these chess pieces, trying to move. Like, if this guy goes here, okay, well then this leaves this guy. Who does McIntyre fight? Well, now he fights him. Who does Cody fight? Ryan. Yeah, we're still. I mean, but again, like you keep saying, Ryan, we're months away.
What we thought, especially on the men's side, is totally been flipped upside down. Your thoughts now, though, going into Mania season, what do you think? Where are you?
I love the mystique, Ryan, but there's a catch. I love not knowing. That's the best thing about wrestling. The Rockers, ladies and gentlemen, boom.
Boom.
That's the best.
And Marty jumps through the window.
Here's my problem, though. Not knowing and then going to a place that I'm like, I didn't want to go there. I'd rather have known and went to a place that I want. Like, not knowing and not getting The Rock versus Roman 3 years ago.
And the things they set up are not necessarily the things we wanted. And you just mentioned The Rock, who we have not mentioned at all yet. Now, obviously, things can change in a snap. It seemed like all The Rock anything died tonight.
I think so, Ryan. I mean, what? Yeah, I mean, unless there's something, I mean, if anybody's out there, your last prayer is he has to be on the Chamber or the week after the Chamber on one of the shows.
Which he can show up tomorrow.
He could.
Yeah.
He could, but I mean, I think
your
got about a month.
Taken. Yes.
You got about a month. And then, and at this point, Ryan, I think you've been saying it, after this year, Ryan,
I'm done.
Like The Rock and Roman, you missed the window. I'm super glad we didn't do it 3 years ago, because it wasn't in LA and it wasn't right, and everybody was like, we can't do The Rock versus Roman on an offshoot WrestleMania.
Well, you know what? And let's throw some of our friends under the bus without saying their names. They're like, well, it's got to be in LA. Who cares where it's at?
Could have been at a VFW hall.
Muhammad Ali fought in a freaking jungle. Muhammad Ali fought all over the. Who cares? Nobody was going, well, it's in Madison Square Garden. Nobody cares. I just want to see those two.
You're not going. I don't think you're going to.
Let me tell you, I'll be honest, dude. Yeah, if they fought in Dallas, it would have been so much worse. It would have been so much worse in Dallas. It still makes sense this year.
They're still wearing the Ula.
It doesn't make any sense after this. It makes no sense. I don't want to see after this. I don't want to see it anymore. I'm done with it.
Yeah. So I mean, but again, there's another guy though that's out there. The mystery that we're rolling into in WrestleMania season, I don't think has been. I can't remember when it's been this clouded. No, the mystery of who's fighting who at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever been this clouded, Ryan. Like I at this
Which is
point
great.
after the Rumble, yes, it's great, Ryan, to a degree. It's not going to be if we rewatch this show in a couple weeks and we're like, oh man, they certainly got us guessing.
I expected interest, didn't expect this interest. So this is awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. As always, please hit like, please hit subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think. Are we crazy? Do you love Jey? If you do, let us know.
I'm curious, who's going, what other WrestleMania matches? Give us your 5. What are we heading to at WrestleMania?
Give us your card.
Who's your card for night 1, night 2? 3 matches on each or something. Who we got? Because I don't know.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Job, guys. Out.
You smell something, it's us, because we're the stuff.